Here's what's making news at midday. Governor Walker responds as Harley-Davidson announces it will shift some production overseas to offset EU tariffs. New details this noon in a deadly officer-involved shooting in Minneapolis, what a medical examiner is saying.
This is News 3 at noon.
Hello, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Mark Kane is on vacation this week, but a little later this half hour, Linda Barch from the Bruce Company will be here. She'll be taking your plant and garden questions in just a little while. But first, let's get a check on the weather. Gary Canalti is back, and he is over in the Weather Center. Welcome back.
Thank you. Looks like a nice afternoon today. Tomorrow, though, we have the possibility for some strong to severe thunderstorms, and then heat and humidity build toward next weekend. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. Things pretty quiet around here, just some mid and high level clouds, but there are thicker clouds and some showers and thunderstorms out to the west of us. You can see that on Doppler track. Right now they're moving more toward the north into western parts of Iowa and southwestern Minnesota, but that whole area will shift eastward with time, and the Storm Prediction Center for tomorrow does have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from about Madison southward and a marginal risk to the north. High winds, hail, heavy rainfall, the main threats. Can't rule out an isolated tornado, so we'll keep an eye on that. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for those scattered thunderstorms along with the potential for some severe weather. Low temperatures this morning started out pretty comfortable, 58 here in Madison, around 60 to the west of us. Current temperatures range from the mid-70s to the upper 70s to the west. A little cooler near Lake Michigan, that easterly breeze keeping temperatures in the 60s right along the lakeshore area. But dew point temperatures are starting to climb. They're now in the low to mid-60s, and they'll continue to head upward, especially toward the end of the week. Otherwise, look for temperatures to climb up. Actually, that should be about 78 degrees by late this afternoon. Temperatures dropping into the mid-60s overnight, and then a chance of a shower or thunderstorm by early tomorrow morning. I'll have more details in weather. That's a look at your first alert forecast.
All right, thanks, Gary. We'll check back in just a little while. Topping our news this noon, Wisconsin-based Harley-Davidson is shifting some of its production overseas. Company employees say tariffs on its motorcycles sold in Europe jumped from 6 to 31%. It's part of the EU's response to President Trump's increased tariffs on imported steel and aluminum. Governor Walker touched on the move today, saying his goal when it comes to tariffs is to level the playing field to where there are few or any imposed on products made in the United States, including Harley-Davidson.
The ultimate goal, if we can get there, would be no tariffs, or if anything, few tariffs on anything. Because it's not just the tariffs the presidents and administrations brought up, it's tariffs for years that many of our trading partners have had, or things that act like tariffs.
It is unclear how the shift will impact the number of jobs here in Wisconsin. President Trump continued his push for stronger immigration policies over the weekend. The president tweeted, "We cannot allow all of these people to invade our country. When somebody comes in, we must immediately, with no judges or court cases, bring them back from where they came." A 1996 law allows for the immediate deportation of newly arrived immigrants arrested near the border, but those who seek asylum are given the chance to have a judge hear their plea.
You know, they want to hire now 5,000 more judges so that a person puts the toe in the land and we have to go to trial. This is crazy what we're doing.
Under the law, they have a right to establish their claim of asylum, that they're in a legitimate fear for their life, that they're fleeing persecution in their home country.
The House is expected to take up a broad immigration reform bill, but it appears unlikely that it is going to get enough votes to pass. Republican leaders are then expected to shift to a narrower bill focused on keeping families together when they are detained at the border. The Department of Homeland Security says it has reunited 522 children with their parents, but there are more than 2,000 children separated and still in shelters. Authorities are sharing new information this noon about a deadly officer-involved shooting in Minneapolis. A medical examiner says 31-year-old Thurman Blevins Jr. was shot multiple times, and it was a homicide. Blevins was shot Saturday afternoon. State investigators say officers responded to at least one report of a man firing a gun. They say as officers approached, Blevins ran away with a black and silver gun. Officers ran after and shot shot him. Blevins died at the scene. Witnesses say Blevins did not have a gun. The president of the Minneapolis Police Union says the officers were justified in their actions, but community members are demanding that police release body camera footage. The Supreme Court is declining to weigh in on the case of a teenager convicted of rape and murder and featured in the Netflix series Making a Murderer. Today's decision not to take the case leaves in place a lower court ruling against Brendan Dassey. Dassey was 16 years old when he confessed that he had joined his uncle Stephen Avery in raping and murdering photographer Teresa Halbach. Dassey's attorneys say he is intellectually disabled and he was pressured into a false confession. His attorneys can still try to get him a new trial, but they would have to convince a judge that newly discovered evidence warrants one. There is a dangerous wildfire burning in Northern California at this hour. The Pawnee Fire is about 20 miles from where a deadly fire devastated the state's wine country last year. The fire is 4 times the size that it was on Sunday. So far, 2,500 people have left their homes. Firefighters in California are also dealing with another major fire about 80 miles to the northeast of the Pawnee Fire. That fire, the Lane Fire, has charred around 3,000 acres so far. A San Francisco woman is accused of being a racist and for calling the police on an 8-year-old girl. Jordan Rogers was selling water bottles on the sidewalk for about 15 minutes when she says Allison Edel confronted her about selling water without a permit. The girl's mother recorded the confrontation on video.
Asked me where is my permit? And I didn't know what a permit was.
Hide all you want. The whole world gonna see you, boo.
Recently, I lost my job, and we were planning a trip to Disneyland before that happened, so it kind of sidelined us a little bit, and my daughter just wanted to help.
Edel told the Huffington Post that she acted because Rogers and her mother were screaming. But after watching the video, she says she feels horrible and heart-wrenched. She released a statement saying, "I completely regret that I handled things so poorly. It was completely stress-related, and I should have never confronted her. That was a mistake, a complete mistake." There is more to come today on News 3 at noon. When we come back, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
It's time to name a best food buy. Tomatoes, and they're about as versatile as they come. Just wait until you see what we're gonna make with them. The other day, I was so excited when I saw freshly picked tomatoes at the market. I'm talking about tomatoes that really taste like tomatoes and not ones that just look pretty. So today, I'm naming tomatoes the best food buy of the week. As a matter of fact, for the whole summer. I know we all have a long list of ways to use them, but we came up with a new and sort of unusual way that I want to share with you. We start by whisking together an egg, heavy cream, a bit of mayo, some shredded mozzarella, and some spices. We set that aside for a sec while we slice a handful of ruby red tomatoes and stack them in a par-baked pie crust. Now we pour the cream mixture over them and sprinkle on some Parmesan cheese before popping it in the oven until it passes the toothpick test. When this comes out of the oven all melty delicious, we want to let it cool slightly before digging in. I can promise that's not going to be an easy task. But once you taste how fresh and creamy it is, I know you're going to want the recipe for what we call Summer's Best Tomato Pie. And it's online now. This is the perfect recipe to take advantage of all those freshly picked tomatoes. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fresh picked way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Thank you, Howard. Linda Barch with the Bruce Company is here this noon. She'll take your plant and garden questions in just a few minutes. But first, the weather is coming up next. Severe weather is possible tomorrow, and then it's going to get very hot for the weekend. Gary has those details coming up in the First Alert forecast. Here's a look at stocks at midday. The Dow is off 364 points and the NASDAQ is also down 181 points. So let's see if Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee has some better news for us. You're shaking your head. Hi, Pam.
No. No, yeah, this is just a free fall as far as agribusiness is concerned, Suze. And I've been learning more, kind of doing interviews with different commodity groups around Wisconsin. These impending tariffs not just impacting the way Harley-Davidson's thinking about business, but remember that we've got things like dry edible beans that are on the hit list for the European Union. Now, what you may not realize, in Wisconsin and Minnesota are the major players for your kidney beans, your dark red kidney beans, your pinto beans, things like that. And 75% of what we produce ends up going to the world marketplace, primarily the European Union. So those growers are very concerned about what their market is going to look like, not just this year, but for the foreseeable future. On Friday, big speculators, which are usually attracted to agriculture because of the volatility, have decided that they just don't have a stomach for all this tariff talk. It's not just about China, European Union. Now we've got Canada and Mexico. We're continuing to work things through. And again, I say it over and over again, today, U.S. agriculture is very, very dependent on what's happening on the international scene. So we're down on the midday as far as corn, soybeans, and wheat are concerned. Our dairy complex is also suffering some major setbacks. The governor today announcing that he is traveling the state. Today is Wisconsin Cheese Day. So he, along with Wisconsin Ag Secretary Sheila Harvsdorf, were down at the Center for Dairy Research this morning. And then his cabinet basically took off across the state, visiting 13 different cheese companies, announcing different state grant programs to try to keep that industry always looking for new ideas, new innovations. You got to look for something like a silver lining out of all this dark cloud. Barrel cheese today is down 8 cents to $1.20 and a half. 40-pound block cheese is down 4 at $1.45. The double-A butter today taking a 3.5 cent shot down to $2.25 and a half. So there is nothing bright in the old farm department as far as the numbers are concerned today, Suze. The good news is today the weather is beautiful.
That is true. And we want to remind everybody you're going to be on live at 4 today. Taking questions with us. So it's a great opportunity if anybody's watching wants to talk to you this afternoon about this, because it's a big, big story. All right, thanks, Pam. We'll see you later.
Sounds good.
And now Gary is here with the weather, and the weather is getting busy too.
Yeah, quiet for today.
Yeah,
very nice out there. You know, the humidity level's still not too bad, but tomorrow we have the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms, and then the heat builds as we head toward the weekend. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. You can see we've got a lot of cirrus clouds. These are blow-off tops of thunderstorms that are farther out to the west across Minnesota and Iowa. That's where the thicker clouds are, and this is part of a storm system that will be lifting toward the northeast over the next couple of days. Now, you can see showers and thunderstorms out to the west, but the general movement right now is from south to north. So this batch isn't going to reach us until probably late tonight, maybe early tomorrow morning, and then we'll see off and on showers and thunderstorms through the day tomorrow and into tomorrow night before they end on Wednesday. Severe weather outlook for this afternoon into tonight, a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms into parts of northeastern Iowa, a slight risk through much of central and southwestern Iowa. Tomorrow that risk area shifts to the east, and there's a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from Madison southward, a marginal risk to the north. Isolated severe thunderstorms, hail, high winds, heavy rainfall, the main threats north of Madison. South of Madison, where temperatures might be a couple of degrees warmer and be closer to a warm front that might make it up to near the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. That's where there might be a threat for an isolated tornado or two tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. We'll have to see how that all plays out. But right now, it looks like tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night would be the main threat, and then everything shifts off to the east on Wednesday. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for scattered thunderstorms. Again, hail, high winds, heavy rainfall will be the main threats. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. A little more cloud cover over southwestern Wisconsin. But as we take a look at the live view from the WISC Skycam, this is also looking toward the west. A little more in the way of blue skies there. And the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing some clouds, but also some sun mixed in as well. As we look at our current conditions right now, our temperature is at a very comfortable 74 degrees. Winds out of the east at 14 miles per hour. Dew point temperatures starting to get up into the lower 60s. And as you take a look at high temperatures, they'll be in the 70s the next couple of days, 80 on Wednesday, and then we get into the 90s with heat index values up around 100 as we head toward the weekend. So that's where the real heat and humidity take hold. This afternoon, partly sunny, breezy, and mild. High temperature topping out at 78. For tonight, 64 for the overnight low temperature. It'll be cloudy and breezy. Some thunderstorms are possible late tonight. Tomorrow's high at 73 with a pretty good chance of showers and thunderstorms. Future track keeps us quiet for this afternoon. Highs in the upper 70s. The clouds come in tomorrow for tonight. By tomorrow morning, we start to see the first round of showers and storms, and then another batch tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. That's where the severe weather threat will be highest. But then as the whole system kind of backs on out of here, look for the rain to come to an end early on Wednesday morning. Rainfall amounts, especially in areas that get heavier thunderstorms, could be up over an inch, but that'll be more spotty. Some areas will pick up less than that. But as we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you see those temperatures back up into the mid-80s on Thursday and the lower 90s for Friday and Saturday. Rain chances actually go down for the weekend. We'll see some thunderstorm chances on Sunday, and then as we head toward the 4th of July holiday, temperatures remain on the warm side, maybe some thunderstorms about the 4th of July itself.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it.
Okay,
for tomorrow especially. All right, thanks a lot, Gary.
You're welcome.
When we come back, Linda Barch from the Bruce Company is here in the studio to take your plant and garden questions. The number to call, 270-9933. The phone lines are open and we'll take your calls when we come back. Linda Barch from the Bruce Company is here today. We're taking your calls at 270-9933. How are you doing?
Good.
Oh, I love what you brought today.
Thank you.
Summer splash of color.
Summer splash. There's a fuchsia that's really easy to grow because most fuchsias are a little difficult, all the way down to that beautiful purple lisianthus down front in the straw flower. That straw flower that's yellow to the right of it, that is a good plant because it stays looking good for a long time during the summer.
That's good.
Both
so
annuals.
Low maintenance plants, we like that.
Yes.
All right, let's go ahead and get to the phones, and we'll start with Donna in Beloit. Hi, Donna. What's your question? Oh, do you hear Donna?
I can't hear her.
Donna, are you there? I don't think she's on the line, but I think her question was, what plants can you buy to attract hummingbirds?
I did bring on a really nice salvia earlier called Wendy's Wish, and it does attract hummingbirds because I've had them hovering around. So that's an annual that you can plant that gets quite tall. Okay. Very reliable.
What other ones do you recommend?
Well, as far as hummingbirds, there are red tubular flowers of a lot of different kinds. This little actually, this is actually a good plant
that would probably work, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. It's always the best time of the year. I love that when they start visiting the garden. Okay, let's see if the phones are working now. Hi, Larry, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, sorry about that. Go ahead. What's your question?
I got an Easter lily, Easter time, and then after it kind of outbloomed itself, I planted it outside. But the top half is all, like it's dead. It's all brown already. Will that grow, or is it?
Okay.
Did I kill it? Or,
No,
do I need to cover it like at wintertime?
No, those lilies that you grow inside during the winter for Easter are just fine when you put them outside. Just make sure that you plant them. They're going to get taller. When they're grown in a greenhouse, they probably only get 2 feet tall.
Right.
Outside, they're going to get double that. So put it at the back of the garden. You don't have to cover it. As long as he's got green leaves on it, that's fine. Cut off the brown portion, and he's good to go.
All right, good. Thank you, Larry. Thank you for calling today. Whoop. Uh-oh. I think all of our phones... Here we go. Let's try this. Sorry, everybody. I'm not sure what's going on with the phones. Jessica in Baraboo, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Hi.
here.
Hi. Thanks for holding.
Hi.
What's your question?
My question is there anything I can do to keep the birds out of my hanging baskets? They've already destroyed one, and they're slowly working on the other one.
Okay. That's more wildlife than because try moving it to a different location or setting it on the ground for a while just so they move on to something else and then relocate it.
What do you have in your hanging baskets that they're attracted to?
Well, the one hanging basket is a dragon wing begonia, and then the other one, I'm not really sure. I think that's wave petunia, and it's just a mixture of stuff. So I thought maybe they were nesting in there, but I don't see any nests.
All right, well, change the location, let them move on to something else, and then move it back.
Okay, now one of our other viewers said maybe put little balls of aluminum foil in there. Sometimes that helps.
Okay.
It's a village.
Thank you.
We're all helping each other. Thank you very much for calling today. Hi, Lorraine, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, twofold. First of all, how do I get my herbs to survive in the winter in a raised garden? I had someone build me a raised garden that's about 2.5 feet tall because I can't get on the ground. And in the past, my oregano and some of my other herbs survived really well in the ground. And last year, I planted a bunch of herbs in my raised garden, and not one came back.
Well, last winter was not an easy winter. We went from warm temperatures to very, very cold in December. We didn't have snow cover, so that lack of snow cover may have made a big difference, especially in a raised bed. But keep in mind, things don't survive as well in a raised bed versus in the ground.
Oh, but so there aren't any, like, magic tips?
No, but try it again because, like I said, last year was not a good example of Wisconsin. We need more snow in winter.
Yes, better luck this year. All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks for your patience while we juggled the calls today. Thanks, Linda. Good to see you. We'll see you next time. Let's head over to the Weather Center, and Gary has a final check of the forecast.
Enjoy the weather today. Severe weather possible tomorrow.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good afternoon.